Starring, amongst others, Dwayne Johnson, Naomi Harris, Malin Ackerman, Jake Lacey, and Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Directed by Brad Peyton, off of a script by, and there's four people wrote this. Four of them. Ryan Engel, Colton Hughes, Ryan J. Condell, and somebody whose surname I'm about to butcher. Adam Sizatikiel. Adam something or other. This is my review of Rampage. Dwayne Johnson plays Davis, who has befriended an albino gorilla named George. Dwayne Johnson's character also doesn't like people, and he much prefers to interact with animals. He has a team of characters around him, including a newbie, but don't worry about them because the movie forgets they exist after about 30% of the film. Meanwhile, up in space, a giant rat is terrorising a space station. When one of the astronauts tries to escape, she is quickly killed, and then all of the potions and formulas that turn this rat into a giant killer rat crash onto Earth. They then turn a wolf into a giant angry wolf, a crocodile into a giant angry crocodile, and poor old George also starts to get the Rampage treatment. Based on that premise, you should be aware that this is a ridiculous film. And it is ridiculous. This is stupid beyond all levels. But I don't necessarily mean that as a bad thing, because I went to see this film to see stupid. I wasn't expecting some serious movie, I was expecting something that was just dumb fun. And when Rampage actually becomes dumb fun, when it is giant animal monsters trying to destroy a city, I'm all in. Those last 45 minutes or so of the film are great. They're great fun. It starts to repeat itself a little bit as some of the action beats become a bit too familiar. But I was grinning, ear to ear grinning for a lot of it. It was so much fun. The problem is, though, that it took such a long time to get there. Honestly, if this movie had just been The Rock and George, just the two of them, it would have been so much better. Like, The Rock, as always, and I probably should call him Dwayne Johnson. We still call him The Rock, right? The Rock, as always, is such a great personality on the screen. Like, his character just exudes charm from start to finish. There's not any moments I can think of that I don't like with The Rock as a character. And George, the albino gorilla, is actually a great character in himself. Like, he's fun, he has a cheeky sense of humour about him, and you can root for George. Like, you want George to be okay. The other animals, not so much. They're faceless creatures and they don't look quite as good. The wolf in particular is a bit of a shoddy CGI. Whereas, as I say, George and even the crocodile look pretty impressive. The character of Dr. Kate Caldwell, played by Naomi Harris, is also fine. Like, she doesn't get a huge amount to work with here, but she's a fun character. She holds her own against The Rock. That's kind of it where the good... Well, it's not. Jeffrey Dean Morgan, I like Jeffrey Dean Morgan in this. The problem is, it very much feels that he was filming The Walking Dead and then just popping over to Rampage to do some more scenes, but not remembering to get out of character as Negan. Like, his character here is Negan. He is. He talks like Negan, he acts like Negan, he's got Negan's swagger, and he's not even a villain, which is the strange thing. But I like the Negan shtick, so... yeah. The three characters that are on Davis's team just amount to nothing. They're each given these little personality traits about them. One of them tells tall tales, the other one fancies The Rock, and who can blame her? And the other one's his friend who just wants to encourage him to embrace people more. But they just disappear. What was the point? What was the point of bringing these people in? They're not in the last 3/4 of this movie, I think. And then there's the villains. Honestly, I think this could have done without villains. Just make it a faceless corporation that did this. We don't need to see anything about them. Just make it about stopping George and his monster animal friends. To have these two people, played by Malin Ackerman and Jake Lacey, would be fine if they were given anything to make them compelling villains at all. But worse, they're not just not compelling, they're fucking irritating. Jake Lacey in particular, he played Pete in The Office for the final season, so I like the actor. This doesn't do any favours for him. At all, in fact. You don't just well, I didn't just root for him to be killed off because it'll be fun to see the bad guy getting his comeuppance. I was praying for this to happen because he was pissing me off so much. He was so bad that I was just eye rolling whenever he appeared on the screen. And Maitland Ackerman's character doesn't fare that much better either. She's a great actress. I love Maitland Ackerman. She's wasted here. There's no motives behind these people at all apart from money. We want money. That's all we want. We don't care if hundreds of people die or thousands or God knows how many die. That's another point actually in this film. That so many people get killed and it's treated quite flippantly. Like there's one point where you see a boatload of tourists just get decimated. And it's odd because it feels like it's trying to be dramatic in places, but at the same time it's going, don't care about these dead people. Don't worry about them. They're fine. It's odd. It's an odd conflict of tones. And in these sort of action movies where you're not supposed to think too much about how the hero can survive certain things, this pushes it to the limit. This takes it to new limits. The Rock's character in this should be dead 50 times over, and it's not the same kind of level where you can just accept it. Like, it stretches credibility to the limit. There's one moment in particular, it involves a helicopter, and it involves a very tall building. You'll know it when you see it, you can't miss it. But to even have the audacity to do this scene, I mean, it looks cool, but to have the characters just emerge fine after it was just wow. Like, yeah, this is a film that you're not supposed to take seriously, and it is odd that sometimes it tries to make you take it seriously. It's strange. I turned up to this just to watch giant monsters cause carnage, but yeah, when it gets round to doing that, it's fun. It is fun. Rampage is, I think, worth seeing, but it's a bit of a slog to get to the bits that you actually turn up to see. I'm going to give Rampage a 6 out of 10. I probably would have given it a higher rating, maybe a 7, if it wasn't for the villain characters in this. They are so bad and so frustrating that they alone just took a whole mark off this. I hated them. Have you seen Rampage? What did you think? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Let me know in the comments. Hit like if you like this video and you want to see me do more. I'm still learning to get my reviewing groove back, so yeah, might be a few more videos before I'm feeling completely natural again. Hit subscribe if you want to see more of this, and you can follow me on Twitter at JoePJulians. I should have another review for the movies at 20, which will be City of Angels. Might even be up before this, actually. I'm not sure which order I'm publishing these, but yeah, thank you for watching.